So basically, initially, let me mute you guys. Yeah. So basically, you in order to practice Python, you have to use a IDE. Okay, you have to use a IDE. You can either use PyCharm. You can either use this, PyCharm IDE. Okay, or either use Atom. Okay, or you can use Visual Studio. Okay, which I use. You can use, and you can use also normal Windows CMD also. That's also, it will also work. Okay, so you need to use the IDE to practice the Python basics of Python. Okay, so the thing is, in order to do automations in a tab, what you need to know, you have to know the manual stuff, like how CFS shares are created, how NFS exports are created. Okay, how interface groups are created, VLANs are created, but the main objective of our training is to automate the day-to-day task, not the transformation task. The task which we need to do thousands of times, we want to automate those tasks. Suppose user is raising a request for some space, then we should automate the task so that we don't have to manually do it. Okay, there are many ways of doing automations. There are many tools available. You can use either, you can accept the other people. Okay, you can accept them. Yeah, so you can either use Python. Okay, you can use Ansible, you can use PowerShell, you can use Terraform. Even Terraform is also, Terraform also is also having provider for NetApp. Okay, you can use shell scripting. Okay, there are a lot of different ways you can do this, but I will teach you Python and Ansible, and after 5 or 6 batches of storage automation is completed, then I will teach you Terraform also. Why I will teach you Terraform? Because it's easier to implement in the cloud. Okay, when we talk about cloud volume on tab, right? So it's easier to implement using Terraform. Okay, so I'll not teach you PowerShell, I'll not teach you shell scripting, only Python and Ansible for now. Okay, so initially I will teach you Python, then I will teach you what is ONTAP REST API, using which from the control, like from the server, from the Linux host, where we'll execute the Python scripts that will log into the storage and it will perform the day-to-day operations. Okay, it is very easy. Okay,
Excuse me.
and also,
I missed out. What is the process of logging into the to perform this automation through Linux console? I forgot. I missed out the term of it.
okay,
You
see, yeah,
just
are you
mentioned
asking
something,
about
right?
the packages that you need to install? Are you asking about
No,
that?
no, 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 no. You just told us, right, that there are some process to run the scripting using Python. You told something. Just now you told something. I missed out the name.
Yeah, Python and then .py file name .py. That's
Dot
what
py.
you need to
Okay,
do.
okay, okay. Got
Yes,
it.
yes,
Got it.
yes.
Got it.
And you have to give it executable permissions. Executable means that file should be like this, plus X, okay, and the file name test.py. That means the file is having executable permissions. Then only you can execute. Okay, so that's what you need to do. And how do you edit the files? I will teach you everything. It's not a problem. So those things I will teach you. So for now, what you need to do, you need to install the ONTAP simulator in Oracle VirtualBox, okay? And you need to create either a Ubuntu server, which you will use as a control server, where we will install all the Python packages and all the Ansible packages, which we'll use to run the Python scripts and also the Ansible playbooks. Okay, I don't know who's pinging me. I hope it's not my student. There's a problem. Let so you see you are here, okay? So we'll do this, okay? So we are not doing PowerShell, we are not doing Terraform and shell scripting. Terraform will do. We'll do after 3-4 batches are done. Terraform will do because Terraform will take another 1 month to teach. That's the problem. If you really want to teach it well, okay? So that's what you need to do. So let me first, the thing is, please, there is a session of simulator installation in my Learn Info channel. Please go through that, download the packages, and install everything. And for the Ubuntu ISO, you can download it from your, from the just search in Google and you will get it. You need to just browse the ISO, edit settings, and do browse the ISO. Okay, it is very easy, but you have to make sure the IP you are using both in Linux server and your ONTAP, your NetApp array, it has to be from same network. Okay, it has to be from same network. Okay, so yeah, I prefer to use Visual Studio. Okay, so let me show you this one by one. I'll do. Okay, you have to understand one thing, that there are syntaxes in Python. We go here, syntax. Okay, syntax means there are some rules in Python. Okay, so which you need to understand. In every programming it will be different. Like in Java you have to use semicolon. In Python you don't have to. Okay, and Python is a object oriented programming. So everything is object. Okay, unlike C and C++, which is a procedural programming. Okay, so that is very difficult, but Python is very easy. Using Python you can do a lot of stuff, but here we are not building anything, we are not creating any web apps or using any AI or machine learning. We are just automating the manual task, which is very easy. And what I will do, I will not create my own class. See, there are many ways of doing the automation using Python in NetApp or any other storages. But what I will do, the easiest way is that I'll use some built-in classes of Python, which is there for NetApp, built-in classes, and not be creating my own classes. I'll just passing, I'll just be passing the, arguments over the class, creating objects, and manipulating the class. So it's very easy. Okay, even Ansible is very easy. The knowledge I'll give, for the Ansible. Suppose here I'm not teaching you Commvault, right? You are an expert in Commvault or Rubric. You want to automate using Ansible. You can do that after my training. I'll give you the pointers. You have to do your work, obviously hard work, because myself I do not have knowledge on Commvault or Rubric, but you can learn the technology that I don't teach you. You can also do automations for those technologies using Ansible or not Python, because for Python we have to dig deeper. We have to first find out the classes, built-in classes for that particular array. Okay, so there are
This
programming
is
like C.
1 second. Are these classes, platform specific or on-tab specific? I mean, it is on-tab version specific or platform specific, hardware dependent or software dependent, these classes, or it is generic, data specific.
No. See, the automation that I will show you is NetApp, Hitachi, PowerMax, Pure, Brocade SAN switches, and CVO. So it is 100% not platform specific. It is used for those technologies, but there is a big but there. Ansible. Ansible does not have any packages for isolon. So you cannot use it for every storage. You understand, right? Because for some storages the packages are just not there. You understand, right, my point? But
Yeah, I got it.
Python you can use. But you have to you have to create their own classes. If the inbuilt classes are not present, you have to create their own classes, which is very difficult. NetApp is easy. NetApp automation using Python is easy, which I will
And
teach.
second, are you, 1 second, are you asking, telling classes mean package or class? I mean, it will be
Py-
packages, right?
Python Python will
Python
be, see,
package or
yeah. you have to install the packages, but when you create your own programming, you have to create your module, and inside the module you have your classes. You will be importing the
Okay.
modules. The
It's like
module will
Java,
have the
right?
classes.
You have to you have to call those package, and you have to implement those functions which are defined in those packages, right?
Yes, that is
In the
correct. Yeah.
packages there will be class, and I will be creating an object of those classes, and we'll call the functions which are defined on the parent package. That's the process, right?
Yes, 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 that is correct. Yeah, yeah, that's what you need to do. Yes. So basically, unlike other object-oriented programming languages like Java or C, C++, Python, we don't need to put semicolon at the end of the statement. Okay. If we want to create, multiple statements at the same line in one line, right? Which is not, encouraged by PAP standards. Python has some PAP standards, okay, which is like the guidelines, best practices. You can still use the semicolon, okay. So let me show you the basic programming, like the first program that you need to know, which is, okay, I hope this is, yeah. So that will be obviously print, okay. So Nikhil,
Hi Dayal, I just joined. Sorry, I
yeah,
was late.
so is your, okay, got it. I don't understand.
Sorry.
uh, okay, nothing. So is your name different, something name? Okay,
Yeah,
you,
yeah, it is at the last Ronaldo. Yeah,
oh,
I
Ronaldo,
just
Ronaldo. Okay, got it.
yes,
I got confused. Okay, okay. Oh, no problem.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Okay, no problem. So we are use the print function. Okay, so we are using it, and just, you know, welcome to Python. Okay, is the first thing. And what I'll do, I'll just execute this, run this Python file. Okay, let me clear this. Execute this. Okay, so you see, welcome to Python message came. Okay, it is very easy. Okay, and suppose you want to write two print functions, okay, in same line, okay, then you can use semicolon. It is not encouraged, but second line, and you have to have patience to learn this, because this is a batch, so somebody might be, he might be knowing all these things already, and somebody might not be knowing, so I have to do justice for everyone. Okay, so I have to go from the basics, so that they are able to understand everything. Oops concept I will do very well, so you will be able to understand everything. Okay, so what is this? This is your, basically, this is your first program. Okay, this is your first program. Okay, and then you have to know one thing, the Python, the most important thing in Python, that is indentation. Okay, that is indentation. Indentation means you'll be using some blocks of code, right? You have to use the same space. Okay, same space. Okay, so let me show you this so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Let me go here. Let's say we are using, in, many of you are familiar with, the condition statement, right? If else, the for loop, the while loop, do while loop. Okay, so I will talk about that, but just to give an example of indentation. So let's say if 10 greater than 3, okay, has to be very well, yeah, colon you have to give. Okay, see, I'm giving enter, so it's indentating, right? It's taking a space, and there print you can give either single quote or double quote, okay, inside block, something like that. Again, sorry, control Z, print second statement, second. So if 10 is greater than 3, okay, then you should do this, okay. Then if you run this, what will happen? Just run this, what will happen? It is getting executed, right? Because you know that 10 is greater than 3, but do one thing and then execute it, okay. 1 second.
I
1 second. So see, if we clear this, clear, and then enter, okay. Here what you see here, indentation error, right? Expected an indented block after the if statement on line 2, okay. So there was an indentation block was expected, but we did not give that, okay. So that is the reason indentation is very important. And the beauty of Visual Studio is whenever you are making a mistake, it will always throw you this thing, right, the red thing. So you will understand. You see here, you just click here, expected indented block, okay, and it's giving you an example of how should you define your functions or your block, okay. It is giving an example, okay. This is a inbuilt function print, so it is just giving the print what is the way you should do this. It's just giving this, like what are the things it is there. So a lot of inbuilt functions will be there, we'll talk about that, but I'm just trying to tell you the the things, the easy things, okay. And you have to
how
understand.
how much is the if block? The first line is if block, right? I mean, when you are putting that colon, the first line is the if block, and the next line is outside the if block, right? I mean,
Yes, yes, yes,
how
it
do
is.
Python understand how far we can the if block is? And if I want to put some more condition inside the if block, how can I put it?
You have to follow the indentation. We'll talk about that. We'll
Okay.
talk about the condition
Okay.
statement. We'll talk about that. Okay, if else, elif. We'll talk about that. There you will see the bigger codes. We have to go one by one so that it's easy for, like, we have to go 1 2 3 so that it's easy. Here we can do an else statement. This will be an indented block, and there we can give a else statement. Then there is an indented block. Okay, like that. And last we can give a elif block. Look, we can do this. Okay, so main thing is indentation. You have to understand there should be a space, okay, it should be a space, okay, that is the indented block, okay. Now we'll talk about another thing, which is identifier. Identifier, okay. So what is identifier? Identifier is basically a name that as a programmer we need to give it to variable, function, module or class, okay. So Python has some basic rules about the naming conventions of identifier, okay. So you can give a name of a to z, okay, small a to small z, okay, 0 to 9, okay, 0 to 9, and underscore you can give, okay. You can do this. And Python is basically a case sensitive language. So if you're giving you're creating a variable with capital uppercase, okay, and a lower case, so that means different thing. These are two different distinct identifiers in Python, okay. Okay, so normally the base practices of Python is that when you are creating, when you are using any package, creating a package or importing a module, those will be all lower cases, okay, lower cases, okay. So you have to know that, okay. There are a lot of different things are there, okay. Like when you are creating a basically a class, okay, then you have to use camel casing. What is camel casing? Camel casing means, suppose customer name, like this you have to do. This is a camel casing, okay. You have to use like this, okay. This is a valid class name, okay. And there are a lot of keywords available in Python. Keywords, okay. Keywords means these words we cannot use to create a variable, okay. Like for, this is a loop word, if, else, okay. Your global variable, okay. Like importing models, import, okay. So lambda functions, I will also show you lambda functions, okay. So these things, while loop, while, do while, so these, these are keywords basically. These are basically special words that is basically reserved by the Python to perform the, here some loops, or defining some global variable which will exist outside the function throughout the program, okay. You are importing a package, lambda functions, which is like easy, like some anonymous functions you are creating. This is while. So these are all keywords, okay. And these cannot be used to create, as a variable name. We cannot really do that, or a class name or anything, okay. We cannot do that, okay. And there is one more thing you need to understand, that is how to get keyboard inputs, okay. So there is a function, input function, inbuilt function. This you can use to get the keyboard function. So what I'm teaching you, I will be using the same thing, same informations while doing the automation. It is very easy. Python is also easy, and Ansible is much easier, okay. So let me go here, and I'll also show you exception handling. So here I got indentation error, right? Something, I'm trying to divide a number by 0. So I'll get 0 division error. So when I'm running a code or running some scripts, I don't want any runtime error. What I want a meaningful message printed to me, or display, it is being displayed to me, so that I understand, or the user can understand what is the real issue here and what needs to be fixed. So that is called exception handling, which I'll also teach you, okay. So anyway, so let us just go one by one, okay. So let's say X. So here I will enter a number 5. It will print 5, okay. And even if I type this again and enter like str, it will print str. Why? Because by default in Python the data type is string, it's not integer. So this is actually string. How do you know this? You type, okay, and enter 5. Sorry, why? Sorry, here 5 class, okay. Again enter str string. You can see here, right? So both are showing us string.
Here type is a function.
What are you saying?
Type is a function. Type is a function. Type.
Yeah,
Type is a function, right?
these are basically built-in classes, and we are basically just passing the arguments of the object, okay. So when you want to pass an object which is a dictionary,
Okay, I
like,
got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. F is the
Okay.
object. F is the object of type class, right?
Yes, 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 yes. So when you try to suppose you have two inputs, right? You got two inputs. You got two inputs, okay, X and Y, and you are thinking that you are thinking that I have sorry input. 1 second. You're thinking that I'm doing really well in programming. You're thinking that, and you are just running this code. Sorry, what is this? Sorry, I don't know why it's not reading. No, no, no. 1 second. Print X plus Y. X plus Y. 1 second. Control C. Type 5, 6. What is the output? It will be 55 because it's a string. It's not integer. If you want, to, do calculation like summation, right? What you need to do? You have to convert this integer to, sorry, you have to convert this string to integer. Okay, and how do you do that? Using int. Okay, this is how you can do this. Very easy. Why I'm showing this? Because when you do programming, right, you will do mistakes on this, so I'm not showing you the normal thing that mistakes that we do. Okay. 5, sorry, again I did 1 second. 5, 5, 10. Okay, you can see here, right? Okay, so that is very easy. Now I'll talk about variables. Okay, the thing is, whenever you are creating an application or a developer is creating an application, it will have two major components. One component will be your logic, okay, and one component will be your data. Logic means how it works. Suppose you want to calculate the Fibonacci series, so you use some logic, right? And the Fibonacci series you want to calculate, right, you have to use some numbers, right? Or maybe you want to calculate something, so you have to use some numbers, right? So you do to calculate between 2 and 3 or something, and you have to use the logic, right? Okay, like factorial of 5 or something, so you have to use some logic, right? And also the data, because 5 is the data, right? Okay, so what is logic? Logic is basically the functionalities, the task that you use, right, which is like which you need to mention sequentially. Okay, that is basically logic. Okay, and you need to have data, right, using which the logic you need to use on data, right? And this data will be on the memory. Okay, it will be on the memory. And one more thing is there. Okay, so here what we are basically doing in Python, we are basically making the on-tap REST API connection using the 443 port HTTPS port,
For
the
want
NetApp
a what
arrays.
connection?
Yeah, what are you saying?
Want a what connection? I did not catch you. Want a what connection?
HTTPS,
HTTPS.
on
Okay,
tap REST
HTTPS.
API, HTTPS connection.
On tap HTTPS connection.
No, no,
Okay.
not on tap HTTPS. On tap REST API is a different.
Oh,
On
REST
tap REST,
API. Okay, REST
yeah,
API. Got it.
REST API. Yeah. HTTPS is the connection. Like, suppose you want to automate. Suppose you have a satellite server, you have a server where you have the yum repository. Okay, and you want to patch many Linux servers from that server, right? You want to push the code, right? So what you do, you use passwordless SSH, right? But you don't do that in in a storage, right? You use HTTPS. Okay, I will teach you all these things, don't worry. I'm teaching Python now. Once Python classes are over, then I will teach you on-tap REST API. Then I'll automate the BAU task using Python. Then I will teach you Ansible Vault, all these things, how to how to like automate Ansible playbooks using shell script also I will teach you. Okay, and then I will teach you all the things using Ansible. Okay, the Ansible part will be more, because the Python part, using Python part, I'll only teach you on tap automation, NetApp automation. not everything, but Hitachi Pure Power Max Rocket Science switches I will teach you using Ansible. Okay, yeah. So what I'm talking about is this, yeah. So we need to talk about so basically whatever variable, whatever data, right, it is on memory, right? It is in memory. Okay. So basically whenever you want to have the data used for some program, right? So you need to store this data in a variable. Okay. It is basically the memory location. Variable is basically the memory location. Okay. So basically when you are storing the data in a variable, right, what is Python is doing? Python is actually storing the value in some physical locations. It could be on hard disk also. So in our Oracle virtual box, we need to mention some hard disk something, right? The memory, and what you need to do, guys, brothers and sisters, you need to decrease the memory because maybe your laptop is not that much powerful. You are having 8 GB RAM. So by default, it will take like 3 GB something it will show, but you need to edit the setting and decrease the memory. Okay. One of my student, Nikhil, he is having uh, laptop, like Apple laptop. Okay. But I really have no way of, I spoke with my students. I'm not sure how to do the simulated installations on iOS, okay, because I have never done that. I have only used the Windows laptop. Okay. So anyway, even our company will give us Apple laptop. My juniors are using, my team members using Apple, but I'm using a Dell laptop because I want to do more with the laptop. Okay. So anyway, okay. So whenever you want to create a variable, what you need to do, you need to use a assignment operator. Assignment is equal to operator. Okay, like this. Okay, like this. Okay. So this is your variable declaration, variable creation. Okay. What is this variable? This is a string variable and this is a integer variable. See, it is an integer variable. Okay. Python is a dynamic type, programming. That means you really do not have to mention the type of the variable. If you are using C, right, what you need to mention? Int x, right? You need to mention int x, string stry, float z. You have to mention like this, right? Because that is static type, but this is dynamic type. You really do not need to mention the type of the variable. When you are what you are defining, Python is intelligent enough to understand what is the type of that variable. Okay. Floating variable z 0.67. Okay, two decimal places, so you need to use decimals. Okay. You want to use some boolean variable z x y z a. Okay. This is boolean type variable. Okay, true. See, boolean. Okay. So here we really did not specify the type of the variable with the variable name, which we need to specify in Java, C, C++. Okay, we really did not have to specify that y is a string, x is an integer, z is a float, a is a boolean. We really did not have to mention because Python is a dynamic type language, is a loose type language. Okay, is a loose type language. What Python is doing during the execution time or the runtime of this code of this program, it is actually, the interpreter is actually, assigning the type of the variable. Okay, because Python understands what is the type. Okay, and we can use this type class to understand what is the type of the variable. Okay, and there are a lot of other things, it's not just integer, string, float, boolean. Okay, there are a lot of others types of data types are there available in Python and also with Java. Okay, see, it is very easy to learn Python and yeah, Python is the easiest language to learn. Okay, if you want to learn Java, you have to, you have to do a lot of stuff. Okay, it is a steep learning curve, but Python is very easy. Whenever I create my classes, so in NetApp, right, suppose a person has asked you that I need a CFS share of 10 GB or maybe Q3 of 10 GB, right? So what you need to do, you have to first create a data volume on a data view server, right, with a junction path because it's a NAS. Okay, and if it's a CFS share, you have to keep the security style as in TFS. Okay, and then what you need to do, you have to create a, you already have a CFS server because this is a BAU task. So initially the domain authentications will be done, so CFS server will be there, license will be there, so you have to create a, now you have to create a CFS share. Okay, or you have to create a volume, then you have to create a Q3 and you have to create a share. Okay, you have to do that. Okay, and in the Q3 you have to provide a quota, like what would be your hard quota, what will be your threshold, you need to provide this. And the quotas are of many types: tree quota, user quota, group quota. So according to your requirement, you have to provide all these things. Okay, and using your Python scripts, you can also do domain authentication. We have some, classes, built-in classes, which you can get from AD, but that is actually not required because it's a one-time job. Why do you want to make your, scripts complex? You don't want that. So whenever I am creating a class for volume creations, class vol, okay, class Q3, I'm using, I need to pass some variables, right, some arguments, right? So that those arguments that I need to pass, it won't be simple integer, string, or float or boolean. It would be a complex data type like list, dictionary. Actually, normally we'll pass the dictionary, okay, and we'll pass a variable type of dictionary because we will not be knowing what would be the length of the dictionary, like how many arguments will be there in the dictionary. We'll not be knowing, so we'll give star star. Anyway, I will teach you that. So basically the thing, what I'm trying to say, you have to understand the data types. Okay. So every programming will have data types. Like in C, you have learned array, right? You have learned array. You also learn matrix. All these things you have learned, right? Okay. So in Python, you also have different type of data types. Okay, using which you can store ranges of data, like lot of data you can store. Okay, suppose you are working as a receptionist in some company, or maybe somebody is working as a receptionist in some company, and he needs to suppose it's a medical hospital, so he needs to find what is the patient name, what is his phone number, and if some visiting hours somebody is signing that, what is the visitor name and the phone number, the signature. Okay, and they had to initially, back in 90s or 80s, we need to have a register, right? We need to do that, but now we do it everything we want to have. We have the SOX compliances in USA, right? Like as per the compliance, we need to have the data, everything, right? Because some might be criminal or something, so we might need to have data that we need to provide to the FBI or somebody, CIA. Okay, so what you need to do, you will be using data types using which you need to store the visitor's name, their phone number, the signature, the time, the start time, the when they're leaving. Okay, so all these things, their address, you need to provide, you need to store. Okay, and you really cannot do using a just single integer or string. It becomes very complex if you do that. So what use that? You have a list, you have a tuple, you have dictionaries, and you have set. Okay, what you have? You have list, you have tuple, you have dictionary, you have set. Okay, let me drink some water. So we already know about string, numbers, booleans, you already know. Okay. So let us talk about list. Okay. List is basically a type of data form using which you can store multiple values. Okay. In other programming languages like Java or C, we have arrays, right? Here in Python, the array is quite like the list is quite identical to array in other programming languages. Okay. In list you can store multiple types of data. Multiple types of data means in a same list you can store integer, string, boolean, float values. Okay, so let me show you this. So let me use the cars list. Okay, I know this is a dynamic type variable, loosely type variable, right? So loosely type language, right? So you do not really don't have to provide the type of the variable you're using, right? You don't have to provide list scar, right? It knows during runtime execution. Python is intelligent enough to understand. Okay. So list you have to use this. This is double braces, right? What is this called? Yeah, this is brackets. The brackets you can use, right? So you have a car of Honda, or you have a car of maybe i10, something like that. Okay, maybe Ford. Okay, I just print it. Just type here. Okay. So first what it is doing, it is printing the list and it is printing the type of the variable, which is a list, which is a class of list. So it's a inbuilt class anyway, inbuilt class. Okay. You just come here, you can see list. Okay. You can see, you just click here, you see list. Okay. The class is list and then you're passing the object. Okay. You can see here, you just go to print is a function. Here you can see print class anyway. So you can see here, right? It is very easy. So here
Card
we
is the
created it.
object, right?
Yeah, what is saying?
Card is the object of type list, right?
Yeah,
Card is the
you
object of type list, right? Sorry, cards are
cars is
the object
basically
of class uh, list, right?
yeah, cars is basically the class, like it's a list class where you're passing the object. It's a list class, list inbuilt class. Okay, it's an object. Yes, exactly. It's an object. Yes, yes. The values are object. Yes, that is correct. See, you will understand more about object-oriented programming when I go into the oops concepts. Okay, now we are just going to the data types. It is very yeah. So here we created a list. The name of the list is cars. Okay. So here we have three values which are printed, and we also printed the type of the variable in the on the screen. Okay, we displayed it. Okay, on the console.
One second, I have a question. Suppose without the string, here we have passed the string, right? As the I mean in the values of those lists, cars list. So if I put suppose 10, so will it take 10 just an integer? Will it take integer in that list?
Yeah, yeah, it will take. It will take. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Because it can take different type of variables. It will take. See, I'll give 10. Okay. Yeah. Because if I give a single code, it becomes a string, right? So I'm reviewing the single code and I'm just executing it. Okay. You see, at least will allow you to use different type of variables together. Okay.
10 here is an integer, right?
Yeah, the middle the second item of the variable or item of the list is an integer. You can use float, boolean, you can use list in, you can use nested list also, 2 3 list under a list, you can use that, no problem. Okay. List is basically associative array. It is basically associative array in other programming languages such as C, C++, and Java. And trust me, those programming languages are much difficult to learn, but Python is very easy. It's like a baby, and those are like adults. But Python was invented long time back, actually, 1985 or something. Yeah, but yeah, I'll tell you one thing. We really do not have to be an expert in Python to do automation. We are doing automation. We are not. We are not building any web applications or anything. Just give me 1 second. So basically the thing is, my brother-in-law, right? He's a Node.js developer. He works for an Irish company. So he works on Node.js and then this, right? So he always build some features, add some features, or there are some bugs coming, or build something new thing. But here we are not building any web applications. We are just automating volume creation, CFA share creation, our iGroup creations, okay, LAN mapping, VLAN creations, okay, checking the doing the network device discovery to checking the errors, CRC errors, okay, where like all these things we're doing, maybe or installing the licenses. So these are basically some manual tasks is there, we're just automating it. I'll tell you one thing, brothers and sisters, I know a person, she works in Netherlands, okay, she's from I think Chennai, no, Kerala. She's working in network automations using Python. She's been working since 2017 or 15, okay. So she uses Python and Ansible. So the thing is, using Python and Ansible, you can automate anything, not only storage, network, VMware, database, okay, lot of things you can do. But as we are from storage background, then if you don't know the manual things about the particular technology, right, we really cannot do. Like I don't know the networking, I don't know database, so I really cannot automate, right? So that's what I'm saying. So you have to know only the storage automation. Yeah. So now we'll talk about tuples. Just leave it here. So tuples are basically similar to list, but there are some distinctions. Okay. So here what you are doing, you are using a square bracket, right? We are using a square bracket to create the list, right? Okay. But in tuple, no. In tuple, what you do? We need to use like suppose you are using a tuple, right? We need to use the parenthesis. Okay. Like opening like the first quotation, I would say like this one. This one we need to use, okay? Parenthesis we need to use. What is this called? Okay, the first, this one actually.
Parenthesis only.
Yeah, this, yeah. So we need to use this, okay, for tuple, okay. And after we create the tuple, right, this is an empty tuple, okay, this is an empty tuple, okay. If you just click on here, okay, you see, this is an empty tuple, okay. And I'm just introducing you to the topics. Then I will execute a lot of inbuilt functions, inbuilt methods on list, right? Adding, appending things, deleting items, just searching for a particular item from the list, popping up items, all these things I'll do, okay? Or copying the list, creating a new list from the old list, all this, deleting all the members in the list. So those things I'll do, but initially I'm just teaching you the basic thing, and then I will do those things, okay? Slowly, one by one, I'll go on, okay, so that you do not have to read from a book. And the thing I'm teaching you for Python, it will be enough for you to do automations in NetApp, okay, in NetApp. Because see, in order to automation, you have many ways of doing things in same thing Python. If you go to GitHub and search for NetApp codes in Python, Python codes for NetApp, right? You'll get very complicated codes. You don't need to know that. You just need to use inbuilt functions. We have NetApp underscore ontime module, which I've installed in my simulator. So those things you need to install and you need to do it, okay? You have to have the PyPy package. So those things you need to install. Marshmallow, request, all these packages you need to do, okay? So it's very easy. Okay, so this is the empty tuple, okay, and car, if I have like this, right, Honda, maybe Ford, okay, so here, right, so this is basically a tuple, okay, so here what you're doing, instead of using the square bracket, we're using the first bracket, right, and another thing you have to understand, which is once you create the tuple, right, once you form the tuple, right, you really cannot change the values of the tuple. So it is basically immutable. Okay. So you really can change the tuple. Okay. So what do I mean by this? Okay. So one second, guys. Cars. Okay. So one more second, yeah, one more thing I want to show you before showing this. So so this is called slicing actually, okay, slicing. So basically you want to get the first item from the tuple, right? So you are using 0 and the second item will be 1, and if you want to use from the last item, right, then you use -1. Okay, it's the last item. Last item minus
Last
1.
item
So
from the right.
yeah, right. Yes, yes. So last item, this one. This is the first item, this is the last item. So you want to print the last item, this one. And you want to print the second last, then you will get horn. Okay? You understand, right, what I'm trying to say?
Good.
It is same for, this thing is same for, your list and also tuple. And I'll show you about slicing more in, tomorrow batch, in tomorrow session. I'll show you about more slicing, but right now I'm just trying to make you understand about the basic things. Okay, and let me see cars. I'm showing you that I really cannot change the maybe this is true TR, something like that. Okay, print.
Here one means the second one, right? Second object, right?
Yes, 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 yeah. 0, 1. You'll get error. Why? Why you will get? Because tuple object, it does not support item assignment because this is immutable. You cannot really change the values of a tuple. Okay? List you can change, but not in tuple. If it is a list, it's a problem. One second, guys. If it is a list, right, you can change it. Okay, see, it's a list and you are able to change the item, the second item or the last item of the list. Okay, you're able to change it, but in tuple you are not able to change it. Tuple, we'll use tuple only when we don't want the values to be changed in NetApp, but it is very often we use tuple. Most of the time we'll be using dictionaries, not even list. Sometimes we'll be using list when you use the but not in Python, that we will use in Ansible, not list, but we have some different ways of telling the data types in Ansible. But Ansible roles in Ansible, different ways of creating the things. One is ad hoc commands. While you use your ad hoc command, suppose you want to create something using Ansible playbook and you really do not have that module available in Ansible playbook, then what you will do, you will use the commands. You will use some high command module, and you in the commands you will place under the command module and you will use it. That is the beauty of Ansible. Okay, and ad hoc command means suppose you want to create your CIFS server, but you want to do that only for the one time. You are not creating server every day when user is not giving you request to do CIFS server create, right? So you can just use the adder commands instead of creating a playbooks. Okay, so yeah.
Dayal, just a query. When we are giving a tuple list, right? So we are always counting it from right to left, the sequencing, right?
Here left to right, 0 1 2 3 4. If you're
Okay,
writing from
left to
right
right.
to left, -1 -2 -3 -4 -5. You understand, right?
Okay. Yeah, from left to right, it is
Minus
zero,
1
start with zero.
-1, sorry, left to right, 1 2 0 1 2 0, it will start with 0, and
So
right to left.
HON will be zero and FOD will be one, if I'm correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, got it.
And
Thank
you are getting from here -1 -2.
you. Okay, got it.
If you're having something -3 -4 like that.
So if
And
you're going from right to left, then it starts with -1.
yeah, -1, yeah, last item is -1.
Okay,
Last
got
item is -1. And
it. Okay.
it's not only for tuple, it's same for list also. Okay,
Okay.
so here what did, I tried to change the second variable, like -1 -2, sorry, 1 0 1, yeah. I tried to change the second item of the tuple in initial, not here, the before, right, in tuple, but I got an error, right? I got an error like tuple object does not support item assignment, means we really cannot change the value of the tuple. Okay, so that's why it threw us an error. Okay, it throws an error. Okay, okay, yeah. So tomorrow we'll talk about dictionary, and then we'll talk about variable methods available for list, tuple, set, dictionaries. Okay, and slowly we'll go. Okay, so we'll talk about Python syntaxes we talked about. Okay, so we need to first. So basically, what you need to do, guys, is please accept that person who is trying to join. Yeah, sign. Okay. So basically, you know, first you need to install ID. Visual Studio is good. Okay. But if you want something else also, you can also, please accept people on behalf of me. Okay.
So this week there will be getting into Python, right? Tomorrow and day after.
Yeah, yeah. So once we
Okay.
complete Python, then we'll talk about REST API, and then
Next.
we'll, yeah, on tap REST API, how
Okay.
to do the connection. See, when you are using Python, and suppose you are trying to create some some web applications using Django or Flask framework, right? So you need a database, right, where you'll have all the data stored, right? It can be MySQL, it can be MongoDB, right? But here also we need to do the connection, but here we don't need database, we need to do the connection with the ONTAP. So I'll show you all these things, how to do that. So in Python, what we'll teach, so what you need to do, guys, is you need to install the Visual Studio in your own personal laptop. and you need to get the Python extension like Python. Yeah, you will get it from here, not here, sorry. There will be somewhere, okay. Yeah, here extension, okay. Here you can go in the extension and search Python and add the extension, okay. So using same with Ansible also you can add from here, no problem. So you need to use any ID that is preferred of your, that you prefer. It can be this, it can be something else also, okay. So I'll teach you. I will teach you the data types, how to run some methods on data types. I'll teach you different operators like arithmetic operators, plus, minus, logical operators, ampersand, and or not, comparison operators, membership operators, okay, assignment operators. All these things I'll teach you. Then I'll teach you condition statements like if, else, elif, okay. Then I'll teach you iteration statements like for loop, while loop, continue, break statements. Then again I'll go to the data types, and I'll use this condition statements and loops, and also inbuilt methods on list tuples and dictionaries, okay. And then I'll teach you how to handle exceptions, the runtime error in Python, okay. And then I will teach you file handling. I will not teach you. Then I'll teach you functions, how to create a package and all, how to import a package. Then I'll teach you object-oriented programming like classes, objects, constructor, attributes, static methods, local global variables, inheritance, polymorphism, okay, child class, parent class, method overriding, okay, and lambda class, map functions, filter functions, list comprehensions, okay. So all these things I'll teach you, and once that is done, then I'll go to the on tab REST API. So it will take around 3 to 4 classes, okay. So probably by next week Python will be over, and then we'll begin the on tab REST API. Then I'll teach you that I'll go to the on tab, I'll log into the system manager. From there I will show the APIs that is available. On tab REST API is like, you know, in different web app, like for Django Flask, right? So there you'll have get method, okay. Get method is, it's a read only thing, like you want to find something, like search for something like volume or something, right? Get method. And then you want to update something, you want to modify something, then update method you'll use. You want to delete some object, then you use delete method, okay. So these are basically the REST API calls. So these calls we'll talk about, and we'll use this. We'll use a function. Sorry, we'll use a class. On the class, we'll use we'll basically execute some, either the class objects or the method objects, and we'll pass some variables and we'll create stuff, okay. It is easy, not difficult. But here we'll not be creating our own classes. We'll be using the inbuilt classes that NetApp has created for us, okay. And similar with Ansible also, we'll be using the modules or sometimes roles. Roles means it will be inbuilt modules, like let's suppose you want to create a CFA share, right? That stuff will have lot of manual step, lot of modules, right? But if you're using a role, it will have a predefined modules, predefined tasks. You just need to modify that. But maybe the role is not, you know uh, not appropriate for every task that you do. So in that case we have to use modules. The problem is, I'll tell you the problem. NetApp is always updated with Ansible, but Hitachi is not. So whatever module we see in Ansible Galaxy, right, that might not be working for the environment. I'll supply the modules to you. That's not a problem. But the thing is, whatever you get in online, right, Ansible Galaxy, right, that will not work for Hitachi. It will work for EMC, yes. It will work for Sansui, yes, but not for Hitachi. That's the problem actually, because Hitachi, they don't share much. Okay. So yeah, log in tomorrow. Sorry, we'll have the session tomorrow. Okay, and we'll talk more about this. Okay. So everyone, Sion, Arjun, Nikhil, uh, Saraswati, and uh, Garvis, Marcus, so you can.
Yeah, I would like to ask you something. Like, when are you doing the rest at IP? Is it gonna be next four lessons
On tab
when
RESTP,
you're on
on
the?
tab RESTP, right? It will be
Yes,
after three
that's it.
classes. It will be after three
Right.
classes. Yes, yes.
Okay, that's when I will be able to connect. Thank you.
Yeah, it will be after three classes. And yeah, yeah. And there is one more thing. There is a tool, Replix, REPLIX, which is basically an AI tool. Suppose you want to create some code or something, right? You just mention there. It supports Python, Ansible, Java, C++. Okay, it does not support
Okay.
all programming. You just paste
Yeah.
it there. You want to create some volume. It will give you the code, right? But that will not work in your environment. You can try that. That will not work. It will have some mistakes in the code. Okay, even though it's AI or something, it's not perfect. But you can probably use that as a basis, like to understand more about it.
Okay. Can you put
Okay.
it on the WhatsApp chat so that we can at least see
Yeah,
more?
I will show you that, I will share you that AI URL. You can check that. Okay. So using that, you will get codes for everything, like pure storage, Python code, everything. But here, the way we'll do automate, right? That you will not get any replics because they will do different. They will create their own classes. They will not use the inbuilt classes. They will create their own classes to do automation. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, so we'll have the session tomorrow. So do you guys have any questions before we wrap up for today? Any questions?
Uh, that this session will be recorded over the channel or the minutes of meeting like
Same
today's.
channel. And one more thing I wanted to tell you. Uh, one thing wanted to tell you. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
One second, let me just close this. In this one probably. Yeah. Go to the settings. Okay. Go to the permissions. Okay. See, you have not accepted it. You need to accept the invitation to see the sessions. You have to accept it. Okay, Arjun, you need to
Okay.
accept it.
Okay. Okay.
You
Okay.
need you need to log into your Gmail. You'll get an email from me. Yeah, email from this one, the LG45, and then you need to accept it and switch channel, and you'll be able to see this. So these people have accepted. You can
Okay.
see they have accepted. Kumar, Somo, uh, they have all accepted it. Okay, these are my previous people. Some people have bought videos from me, but I'll tell you one thing, live session is better. I'll tell you why. Prior to 9.7, now the code is 9.16. Okay, prior to 9.7 we have on tap zappy modules, not REST API. You don't know, maybe 5 years, after 5 years they have some different thing, right? My sessions will always be updated. I say 2 years of repeated sessions, but it's actually as long as I'm in IT. But I did not say that because I don't want to promise something which I cannot deliver. So I'm short selling myself. Okay, so that nobody's have any complaint. But you will get, like, for 10 years you'll get, like, the syllabus will be updated and you'll get live sessions. It's not like one time training, but you have to be honest, and you should do your own homework, like whatever I'm teaching you, right? For now, not now, after 1 month you need to try practice. Okay, just wait for 1 month. Once you understand my things, then you try to practice using Python and Ansible. I'm not going to teach you Terraform for now, because if I teach Terraform, then it will become 4 months training. So what I'll do, after 4 to 5 batches, I will try to include Terraform. And another problem with Terraform is that if I want to get uh, the CVO stuff in cloud, right, it is costing a lot of money. So that's another problem, because it's not in free tier in cloud. NetApp, it is not in free tier. The cloud volume on tap. So that is the problem. If I want to do something right in Terraform, it is like within 1 hour, it is giving like $60, $70, like that. So dollars is a lot of money for us in Indian people. Okay, we're not, yeah, INRs. It's very costly. In $1 equal to one, I think 80. I one I equal to 80 or dollars or something. So a lot of money, like 6,000, 10,000. It is going 1 hour. So I did once, but then I stopped doing it because it's charging me a lot. Okay, so please install the Python and try to do this thing. Okay, so we'll talk tomorrow. We'll have a session tomorrow, same time from 9 to 10 p.m. IST. Okay, okay. Chalo bhai, huh? So we'll call it a night for today.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you, Dayal.
Thank you very much.
welcome. Yeah, and I'll upload the session today only, so it will be available. So what you need to do, guys, you will have this read-only access to the channel. To everyone, I have given the access. So you just need to go to the content, okay, and videos. You'll get the videos, and there are playlists are there. Okay, little bit of NetApp storage training I've given. The reason why it is for you to understand, because if I want to do NetApp training, if I want to teach you manual stuff, right, it takes a lot of time, bro. It will take a lot of time. My NetApp training is like for 3.5 months, so it takes a lot of time. Okay, but when I do automation, right, I create flow charts. Suppose CFA share, right, I create a flow charts. I'll also show you, I'll also explain to you the manual things we do, but I cannot do the hands-on like I did here, right? I have done hands-on, right, because that hands-on, every hands-on takes 1 or 2 hours, bro, which will make it impossible for me to complete the training. Okay, you can see here, these are all my classes. Troubleshooting sessions also I mentioned. Okay, whatever things I will be automating, the manual stuff I've uploaded here, so that you can understand. Even for Hitachi also I've uploaded the manual stuff in this playlist, so that you can understand here. Okay, you go to here, Hitachi manual stuff is also there, so that you guys, VSP architecture, op center, HNAS, so that you can understand allocation in Redcom CCI, so that you can understand. Okay, and even EMC also I have given Power Max. In this bash, I,
This USA last camera.
not
Because
able
of
to
that,
hear you.
they're walking in fast. Here is one. HSB, HSBC, HSBC,
Un- audible.
yeah, we are looking forward. Again, seeing something. For the India. So when
I
the
think
parents
he's talking to someone else. Okay, so no problem. So we'll drop the class today. Okay, tomorrow we'll connect at the same time and we'll do our training. Okay.
Sure, Dayal.
Okay. You can see here, right? Ansible for prawn scheduling, like how to schedule your Ansible, right, in prawn. So all these things are given. Anyway, okay. Okay, so we'll stop it here. Okay, yeah. Bye.